going to learn about fractions. So what are fractions? Fraction is a part of a whole. So what does that mean? For example, you have this pizza. It has been divided into 2, 4, 6 equal parts. So if I eat one slice of this pizza, then the fraction will be 1 out of total number of equal parts. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the fraction is 1 by 6. So now suppose if I eat 2 slices, the fraction will be 2 upon total, that is 6. If I eat 3, then that would be 3 by 6. So your numerator depicts the total number of parts you are eating, or you are shading, or you are selecting, okay? And the denominator, this is a denominator, this is a numerator. The denominator represents total number of equal parts. Let me give you an example. So it's a rectangle and I have divided into 3 equal parts, okay? If I select one part out of this, okay, I am shading this one part, so the fraction will be 1, what I have selected or what I have shaded, out of total, that is 3 parts. This is the fraction for this figure. If I change this, if I shade the second part also, now there are 2 shaded parts, so I have selected 2 parts. Now the fraction is 2 upon, see, denominator will always remain the same, that is total number of parts, that is 1, 2 and 3, and all of them are equal parts, so it will be 2 by 3. Now let's shade the last part. Now I have selected 3 parts out of the total, that is 3 parts. If I cancel this, I get 1 whole. Let me give you one more example. If I draw a circle and make 2 equal parts, assume that they are equal, okay? I am shading this part over here. So the fraction will be, I have shaded one portion, or I have selected one portion, and there are 2 equal parts. So this is the fraction, that is half. So this represents half. If I circle or if I shade the other part also, then the fraction becomes 2. I have shaded 2 parts out of the total 2 parts, that is 1 whole. This is entire thing, this is 1 whole. If I give you a fraction and if you have to draw from that, okay, that's like if I tell you that 3 by 5, this is a fraction. Why is a fraction? Because it has a numerator, there's a denominator. Denominator represents total number of equal parts. The numerator describes the parts that you have selected or maybe shaded. If I want to draw a figure out of this 3 by 5, first of all I should see the denominator, that is 5. So there should be a figure which should have 5 equal parts, okay? So I'm trying to draw equal parts, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now I have to select 3 parts, or I need to shade 3 parts. So I can select any 3 parts. It's not that I have to just select the first, second and the third one. I can also do it like this. Again the same figure, 5 parts, equal, they are equal, okay, assume they are equal. I can select any 3 parts, but I have to select 3. So this is equal to 3 by 5, where the numerator depicts the number of shaded portion or the number of parts that you have selected, and the denominator represents the total number of parts out of which you have selected. So basically a fraction is nothing but a part of the whole, okay? Next, Now let's study the different types of fractions. So fractions are of different types. Let's see the first example or the first type, that is like fractions. As we know, a fraction has a numerator and a denominator. Whenever you have two or more fractions with the same denominator, they are called like fractions. Let me give you an example. 3 by 5, 2 by 5, then 1 by 5, 12 by 5. If you notice, in each case over here, the denominator is the same, that is 5. Over here there's 5, 5, 5, 5. Another example, 3 by 2, 5 by 2, 7 by 2, or any number by 2. They are like fractions because the denominator is same. Okay, let's move on to unlike fractions. So this is the opposite of like fractions. So if you have different denominators, then they are called like fractions. For example, I'll use 3 by 5, 2 by 7, 1 by 8. Now if you notice, the denominators, they are different, so they are called as unlike fractions. So the first type is like fractions, second one is unlike fractions. Let's move on to the third type, that is unit fraction. From the term itself, unit means 1. We know, right? Units place. Okay, so unit means 1. So if the numerator is 1, okay, so you have different fractions and all the numerators are 1, then they are known as unit fractions. Example I'll give you: 1 by 3, 1 by 7, 1 by 8, 1 by 13. If you notice, the numerator over here, in each case it is 1. So such fractions are known as unit fractions. Let's move on to the next type, that is proper fraction. So a proper fraction, okay, let's write one example over here. Yeah, proper fractions are those fractions in which the numerator, okay, is smaller than the denominator. So let's take any example. So 1 by 3 example. So 1 by 3 here, if you notice, 1 is smaller than the 3. 5 by 13, numerator is smaller than the denominator. Then 6 by maybe 7. So this is again a proper fraction. Proper means the numerator is smaller than your denominator. This is your denominator. Now the opposite is improper fraction. In improper fraction, your numerator is greater than your denominator. For example, 13 upon 5. This is the first example. You notice 13 is bigger than 5, so that's why it's improper fraction. Let's take another example: 7 upon 3. Third example: 21 upon maybe 6. In each case, the numerator over here is greater than the denominator. 13 is greater than 5, 7 is greater than 3, 21 is greater than 6. So let's move on to the next type. So first one was like, then unlike, then unit fraction, proper fraction, improper fraction. The next one, this is known as an equivalent fraction. So equivalent means the value of that fraction is same. Okay, now let's take the same example, that is 1 by 2, and let's take the other example, that is 2 by 4. Both of them are equivalent fraction. Why? Because their value is same. What do I mean by value? Let me show this with the help of an example. That is, I'll just draw a circle. Okay, denominator depicts the total number of equal parts. So there are two parts, so I have to divide this circle into two equal parts. Okay, I have divided into two equal parts. Out of this, I will select or shade one part. So any one part I can select. So this means 1 by 2, or half. Okay, this is half. We can clearly see it is half. Now let's see what is 2 by 4 if we convert it to a figure. So there has to be 4 equal parts, because denominator depicts the total number of parts, and that to be equal parts. Okay, So I'm drawing a circle. Okay, this is assume it's a proper circle. Okay, it's a proper circle, equal circle, like all the parts are equal. So there has to be four equal parts because the denominator is 4. So let me have 4 equal parts. Okay, now I need to select two parts because the numerator depicts the total number of shaded portion or the parts that are selected. So I need to shade two parts because that's my numerator. So let's select or shade two parts. So if you notice, this again half. Okay, so now both the values, see, they are equal. This figure, that is 1 by 2 and 2 by 4, their value is same. That's why they are known as equivalent fraction. And if I take the same example, that is 2 by 4, okay, if I divide this number by 2, if I divide this number by 2, 2 divided by 2 is 1 and 4 divided by 2 is again 2. So if you notice, this in the reduced form and this fraction, both of them are same. So such fractions, okay, are known as equivalent fractions. So 1 by 2, 2 by 4, the next one will be 3 by 6. They are all half. If you notice, everything is half. If you reduce it, it is half. So such fractions, okay, they are known as equivalent fractions where the value is same. Now let's find few ways in which you can get equivalent fractions. So there are two ways, either you multiply or divide. I'll cover that in the next video. Let's see the other type of fraction, that is a mixed fraction. This is the last type of fraction, that is mixed. In a mixed fraction, you have a whole part plus a proper fraction. Example, if I write 1 by 3, this is a mixed fraction. Why? Because this number or this fraction can be split into the whole part, that is 1 plus 1 by 3. So 1 is your whole part, 1 by 3 is a proper fraction. So such a fraction, 1 by 3, is known as mixed fraction because it's a mixture of whole and a proper fraction. Let me give one more example. For example, 2 by 5. This is a mixed fraction which can be written as 2 whole plus 2 by 5, that is a proper fraction. Now how do we represent, or what is the meaning of mixed fraction? For example, if I take 1 by 3, so the meaning is 1 whole plus 1 by 3. So how can I draw this figure? Okay, so this is nothing but 1 whole. So I can take one entire circle. Okay, I'll shade this because that's 1 whole plus 1 by 3 means, first of all, it is one shaded part out of 3 total parts. So I'll draw this circle. I'll have 3 equal parts of this circle because my denominator is 3. I have to shade one part because that's my numerator. So the meaning of 1 by 3 is this. So 1 whole and 1 part out of 3 equal parts. Let me give you one more example. If I write 2 by 5. So now I can depict this. This means 2 whole plus 2 by 5. That is 2 parts out of 5 parts. Okay. Now 2 whole. Now 2 whole I can show. I can take like a rectangle. This is one rectangle, the second rectangle. So 2 whole means the entire thing. These are 2 holes. Okay. Plus 2 by 5. So now there has to be one more rectangle. Okay, and denominator is 5. That means there has to be total 5 parts of the rectangle, equal parts. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now the numerator depicts the number of shaded portion or the selected parts, that is 2. So I need to select any 2. Okay, I can randomly select any, I can shade any 2 parts. This is the meaning of 2 by 5, where there are 2 whole parts, okay, whole parts, and this is your proper fraction, that is 2 by 5. Let's move on to the next part, which is the which is important, which is how to convert from mixed fractions into improper fractions. So now let's take one example of a mixed fraction, the same one, that is 2 1 by 3. If you want to convert this mixed fraction into improper fractions, see, improper fractions are those fractions in which the numerator is bigger than the denominator. So here the steps are very simple. You multiply the denominator with your whole part, okay, denominator of your proper fraction with the whole part, that is 2 into 3. Then you add your numerator, that is plus 1, the entire thing upon whatever is the denominator, that is 3. Now you just solve it, that is 2 into 3 will do first, because according to Bodmer's multiplication comes first. So 2 into 3 is 6 plus 1 upon 3, that is 7 upon 3. If you notice, 7 upon 3 is an improper fraction because your numerator is bigger than your denominator. Let's take one more example. 3 1 by 3, method remains the same. So 3 into 3 I'll do first, plus 1 upon the entire thing upon whatever the denominator is, that is 3, that is 9 plus 1 upon 3, that is 10 by 3. This is again improper fraction. Let's take another example. So in this case it will be 5 into 7, then this will be plus 2, the entire thing upon 7, 35 plus 2 upon 7, that is 37 upon 7. So this is again improper because numerator is greater than the denominator. One last question I'll solve on converting mixed fractions into improper. Why it is necessary? It is necessary when you add or subtract, it is easier. So let's take one more example. 7 2 by let's take 9. So now we have a mixed fraction which has a whole part and a proper. So the method remains the same. You multiply this, that is 7 into 9 or 9 into 7, does not matter in multiplication, plus the numerator upon the denominator. So 7 9 is 63 plus 2 upon 9, that is 65 upon 9. So this is a improper fraction and we want that only improper fraction. 65 is a numerator and this numerator is greater than your denominator. So that's an improper fraction. Let's move on to the next and the last topic for today, that is conversion of improper into mixed. It's opposite now. So let's take one example of an improper fraction. For example, let's take 21 upon 5. Why this is an improper fraction? Because my numerator is greater than my denominator, because 21 is greater than 5. I have to convert it into a mixed fraction. So mixed fraction is nothing but one whole plus a proper fraction. So how to convert from improper to mixed? You simply divide. That's long division. You just do the long division method. 21 is your dividend, 5 is your divisor. 5 into what gives you a number close to 21? So 4 is 20. You subtract, you will get 1. You need to stop over here. You don't have to go into decimals. Now the most important step is you have to begin from the quotient, that is this, then the remainder, and then divisor. How are you supposed to write? So you will first write the quotient, that is whole, that is the whole part, then the remainder, that is 1, upon your divisor, that is 5. So this is a mixed fraction which has 4 as your whole part and 1 by 5 as your improper, as a proper part. One more example. Let's take 13 upon 2. If I want to convert this into mixed fraction, the method is simple. You just do your long division. 13 by 2, 2 6 is 12. You subtract, you get 1. Start from your quotient, go all the way to your divisor, that is 6 whole, 1 remainder upon 2. You can also do this mentally if the numbers are simple. For example, if it's 25, the third example, 25 upon 7. So if the answer, if you want to find, just do the long division, that is 7. 7 3s is 21. Subtract, you get 4. Start from the quotient, that is 3. Then you go to the remainder, that is 4. And then you go to your divisor, that is 7. That is your answer. 3 4 by 7. Let's move on to the next slide. So here are a few questions. You need to identify the type of fractions, whether it's unit fraction, whether it's like fraction, unlike fraction, equivalent fraction. Okay, now let me clarify a few things, that one fraction can be like more than one type. 1 by 3 is a unit fraction as well as it is a proper fraction. Okay, it's as well as a proper fraction. So let me know the answers in the comment section. If you like the video, like, share and subscribe.